So how much revenue did you guys do last year?
8 million. Very short of what I thought. I was aiming for 20. We added the pools, which if you're doing all the landscape around it, you're talking about $150,000, $200,000 tickets. We have 5 pools in production right now, but it takes 8-10 months to even get them rolling, depending on the municipality. So I was aiming for getting 20 of them in the ground, but we've only completed 2, with 5 more going right now, just because of the cycle. That, with my forecast, I came up short on that. But this year, we're going to do really well because it's just going to compound.
All right. That was halftime.
It's all right. Commercial break.
Yeah.
Lawn care life.
There you go. Oh man, I spilled my water.
It happens.
We've done over 1,400 episodes, and as you can see, we're still stumbling
I heard
and
that.
fumbling.
Like I said, I constantly have you and Naylor and Pajak and Greenside up, and just everybody always playing. As soon as I start my truck, one of you guys is already playing. So
thank you.
I heard you say that the other day, and I'm like, man, 1,400 episodes. That's something to really hang your hat on. Good for you.
So how much revenue did you guys do last year?
8 million.
$8 million.
Yeah, I fell very short of what I thought I was going to. I was aiming for 20. We added the pools, which are going to start at $75K. If you're doing all the landscape around it, you're talking about $150,000, $200,000 tickets. The problem with the pools is the permitting, right? So we have 5 pools in production right now, but it takes 8-10 months to even get them rolling, depending on the municipality. So I was aiming for getting 20 of them in the ground, but we've only completed 2, with 5 more going right now, just because of the cycle. So that, with my forecast, I came up short on that. But this year, we're going to do really well because it's just going to compound.
$8 million is a lot of money, Jeremy. So you served a lot of people.
It is, but when you're shooting for 20, right?
Yeah.
And then we had a very large commercial contract that got scaled back for 2024 and deferred a lot to 2025 and 2026. So it got spread out, which I was anticipating getting it all done in 2024.
Was that apartment? Or?
Yeah. Okay. So we've completed all the retaining walls. There's still phase 2, 3, 4, and 5. But those have been deferred. So again, I put those in my forecast, and it came out to about 17, 18 million. So I was shooting for 20, but we hit 8, which was it was a record. So it's nothing to complain about. But again, when you're shooting for 20 and you come up with 8, it's okay. We learn and we keep going. Keep on grinding.
Yeah. Now, you've been grinding on social media.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn from you.
I gave you one piece of advice you didn't listen to. I'd make your name Jeremy Talboy, or Jeremy _Talboy, brand you, not the landscape typhoon.
Right. Tycoon.
Tycoon.
I'm going to tell you a story about that.
We got to talk about this.
All right, so hold on. I'll get to the Jeremy thing in a second, but the Landscape Tycoon, I changed it recently from Mow, Blow, and Grow to Jeremy the Landscape Tycoon. Mow, Blow, and Grow is kind of what I would like to name my podcast eventually.
You can name it Mow, Blow, and Grow with Jeremy Talboy.
That's what I will do. But as far as the social media brand, I switched it to the Landscape Tycoon because, and I was telling the story over here this morning, when I was a kid, you remember all the computer games like Oregon Trail.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So you go to the computer lab when you were a kid and you play Oregon Trail. Well, when I was a kid, everybody was playing Oregon Trail, and I played a little bit. But there was a game that came out, and it was called Dino Park Tycoon. So you buy a plot of land, you buy some dinosaurs, you set your ticket prices, you do all that. And then there was Sim City. You create your city, you set the taxes, you build the roads, all that stuff. Didn't really know it then, but those are business games. They teach you, and that's where I got my entrepreneurial spirit. Way back in first grade, second grade, playing those games. So I was thinking about it the other day, and I was buying my son the new, I think it's Roller Coaster Tycoon or something, because I want to get him into the entrepreneurial spirit. So as I was thinking about it, I'm like, you know what, that's going to be my name, because I was never really set on Mow, Blow, and Grow. I just fired it off. So that's the background to why I changed my name. But with the Jeremy Talboy thing, I just kind of wanted to keep it separate. Now, I can continue changing my name, so I'll go back and forth. It's a great piece of advice. Just because I didn't take it doesn't mean it's bad advice.
I was just saying brand Jeremy Talboy. Yeah. Brand Jeremy Talboy, because you have a unique story. You're an $8 million company. There's issues that I don't even know what you go through on the amount of responsibility, the amount of families. Oh,
He's
Mark Bradley.
He's the man.
Hey, Mark. Good to see you. I didn't know Mark's going to be here. Cool.
He's the man. He just got done talking.
Oh, cool. Yeah. But there's so much responsibility. I mean, how many employees do you have, and then they, have spouses and children, and that's a lot of responsibility.
That's right. It's a lot that weighs on you, and every decision that I make is super critical. And the ripple effect across the company, all the way down to their families. I mean, that's a lot of pressure on a business owner, and it's the most important part of my job, and that's why I take every decision very seriously, and I try to make informed decisions and make them fast.
So how many employees do you have at the moment?
So all in the middle of the growing season, in the peak, we're at about 100. Now we do use subcontractors. I consider those part of my team.
Oh yeah.
On the maintenance side, we run about close to 50 maintenance guys, plus your whole management team, plus your office staff. That'll get you to about 70. And then you add the subcontractors, which do the majority of my install work, all my commercial install and residential install. So about 100.
Okay. And then revenue-wise, do you make more on the landscape installs or on the lawn maintenance, or what's your kind of breakdown? I know you don't know your numbers too well, but...
I mean, I know that stuff.
Okay.
It's the deep dive into the numbers.
Yeah.
Revenue is definitely... I do about $2 million in maintenance. There's about another $750,000 in enhancement work for those maintenance contracts, and then the rest is pure commercial or residential design build.
Okay, so mainly design build is what's bringing in the most.
Yep, and I'm really focused on growing the maintenance side because, one, for resale value, if I ever want to sell my company, they're interested in contracts, plus that really opens the door into more install work anyway. So I'd like to get the maintenance up to about 5, 6, 7 million in the next year or two.
Okay. Super cool, Jeremy. Your shop, did Naylor go yesterday? He was mentioned he's going to go over to your shop.
Yeah, he did. He brought a group of guys, and they, fortunately I was in Orlando listening to Mark.
So when Mark waved at you, he knew you guys connected.
White hat.
Okay. Because I saw him.
I shook his hand a couple times over the weekend. I talked to him. I pulled him aside. I had some questions for him. Yeah, he knows who I am. But like I said, the white hat really sticks.
Yeah, and the beard, and the whole outfit here.
That's right, branding.
Yeah, and you look sharp when we went golfing.
Yeah.
You had like a green and blue outfit that day. It wasn't your brand colors, but you look sharp out there on the golf course.
That's right. I had the hat though.
That was awesome, man. Jeremy was on my show a while ago at a different podcast studio, and he's like, "I'm gonna get you out of Cherokee. I'm gonna get you out of Cherokee," and I didn't know what to expect. You got me out of Cherokee, all right. It was beautiful. And we played 36. You had to go to T-ball.
That's right.
But we played 36 holes.
Yeah, my buddy.
Duval.
Duval Brumby, that's right. I'm a man of my word. That's,
you are.
That's I will never tell you something that is not going to happen. So.
Well, we're 1 for 3. We still got Peachtree and Augusta.
Only because you moved. That's different. That was a different part of the day. You didn't tell me that when I made this whole promise. It's hard to get you out there.
If you would get me to Cherokee again, or Peachtree or Augusta, I'd hop on a plane like that, or I'd drive.
Hey, Duval, I told you about Augusta, and you were the first and only call that I extended that invitation to, and it was from Duval. And I said,
was on that.
If this ever happens, you're my one guy. You're my call.
Let's go.
Now, unfortunately, it didn't come to fruition, but had it, you would have been there with me.
Yeah, well, I was already. Jeremy gives me a teasing text about playing this course 2.5 hours away.
But I was very specific in letting him know that it's not 100%.
Wednesday, 10 a.m.
Yeah, if. There was a lot of ifs.
Well, I was already imagining myself on the first tee. Was it going to hit driver? Was it going to lay up with a nice little 2-iron? I was already thinking about my nice draw on number 2 on that par 5. I mean, I was already there. I told my dad, I was like, "Dad, I'm playing Augusta on Wednesday, I think."
Just throw in the "I think." That's okay.
And well, I was in Charleston, South Carolina when you texted me, and I was supposed to go down to Tampa.
Yeah.
And so all day long, I didn't go to Tampa because I was like, because it was Tuesday. So I was like, my dad's like, "Are you leaving?" I was like, I think I'm gonna go to Augusta. And then finally, I think I texted you at the end of the day, like.
Yeah, when I was still waiting, and I poked him, and it just didn't happen. But I have a real good feeling that the opportunity is going to come up again. So.
Now, Cherokee, that was awesome.
It's very Augusta-like.
Yeah. So if you ever can get me out to there again, I would hop on that plane
I can
and
get you out
go
there again.
go out there again. It would be awesome.
I go with Duval. I have another buddy of mine that is a member out there that takes me from time to time, but Duval is really, I give Duval a lot of business. So, and the golf course is the best place to do business. So,
Yeah.
we get out there a couple times a year. So, the next time I get that, I actually was invited the other day, but I was like, Duval, it is cold and windy.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna pass.
You should have told him to text Paul. Paul fly
sure.
up. Actually, I don't know. It was 77 when I played yesterday. Or, not yesterday. The day before I played, it was 77 on Monday. It was beautiful.
Lucky dog. And then Peachtree, like you said, Peachtree. I feel like this could be wrong, but I think Peachtree is like the sister course to Augusta. A very similar layout, similar, optics, all that stuff. And I've played it one time.
You've played Petrie?
One time.
Wow.
On a maintenance day. That's the only time they let me out there.
On a Monday? Well, how'd you pull that off?
Just a connection.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not about what you know, Paul. It's about who you know.
Right.
So I got out there. Cool story. I was not playing a whole lot of golf at the time. I was kind of on a hiatus. I birdied number one, and I think I carded 110.
At Peachtree.
Yeah, but after one,
Birdie, I'll tell you what, birdie at number one, it seems like it always backfires.
You know why?
Why?
Because the looser you get, the more you go after it, and then everything falls apart. You got to be, slow is smooth, and smooth is fast, period. Let the club do the work, like my granddaddy used to say. And just let the club go. But you start you start striping the ball, and then you start pumping up. And when you pump up, that's a recipe for disaster. So,
$110
yeah.
at Peachtree.
Yeah, and then we got to the back nine.
Oh, yeah, right. Jeremy's a good golfer. Don't let his 110 fool you.
Yeah, it's a pretty 110. It's a pretty 110. So, but if I get out there and practice, give me 1 month, work on my short game a little bit. I can ball a little bit.
So Naylor and his team, though, they were able to see your shop, see your setup?
Yeah, and like I said, unfortunately or fortunately, I wasn't there. I was listening to Mark down in Orlando. It just kind of worked out that way. But my whole team was there. He brought his group of people, and they got to ask questions and observe. And one of them, Grant and Sons over there, he pulled me aside when I walked in, and he said he was one of the guys that went to the shop. And I mean, he was just overly grateful for the experience to see, because he's kind of I think it's him and his son.
Yeah,
it's kind of a one-man band or two-man show, a little family thing. And dude, that's how I started.
Yeah,
that's how I started. So it's really cool. I know what it's like to be him. And I know what it's like to be him and want to be in this position. And I remember idolizing people and looking up to people and trying to get information from people. So it is really fulfilling to be able to talk to people like that. But anyway, he said it was a great experience for him, and we're just happy to help. Anything that he can learn, he's free to ask any questions. It's great. It's good to give back. You share that sentiment that there's really no better reward than being able to help other people. So. And I'm grateful for the people that helped me, Jonathan Potoshnik, Keith Kalfas, all those guys. So it's really cool to be in a position now to pass that on.
Yeah, you want to talk about it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
Naylor got me to Jonathan Potoshnik's mansion this summer. We got to go to his house.
Podcast.
Oh, you listened to that episode?
Of course, I listen to all of them. I'm a big fan.
Well, that was awesome to go to Jonathan's house, man. And he's so successful and humble.
Yeah, very humble.
He's just awesome. It was amazing. I didn't want it to end. I was just savoring every moment out there.
I'll get you Cherokee. You get me the mansion, right? And we'll swap, and I'll go hang out with him too. I love Jonathan Potoshnik. I listen to him all the time. As I mentioned before, he was one of the very first videos that I ever watched, and it was him in front of a whiteboard talking about how to price a commercial property. So I've told him in person, and I've told you, and I've told everybody, and I'll say it again, I owe him an enormous debt of gratitude for what he taught me without even knowing it. So.
Yeah, he loves business. It's just he eats, sleeps, breathes it, loves it. He's got, his net worth is over $100 million, so he doesn't, when you have that much money and you invest it, the interest that your investments make is a lot of money.
Sure.
Enough to live off. He doesn't have to work but he wants to just keep helping us. So he's awesome. He just shows
he's got a good heart.
Yeah, he's wonderful.
And he's very genuine. And when you see him in person, meet him in person, spend any amount of time, you can feel that. He's a very genuine. He really cares about helping. And on the way here, I was listening to, I think it's probably one of your podcasts, and he was on, and he was talking about his next objective is to help the 15 to 23-year-old age group, because he really wants to invest in the younger group of up-and-comers. And that's a testament to his genuineness. You know, like to want to help the next wave of people, whether there's a profit involved or not. Just the fact that he wants to help, that just speaks a lot to who he is and his character.
Yeah, totally. What would you say has been the biggest mistake you've made in building North Georgia Landscape Management? What did you learn from that misstep or mistake?
There is a lot. That's a long list. I am a very trial by error kind of guy. Now, I have a history degree. I was going to be a baseball coach. Okay, if I could go back and do it all again, the first thing I would do is get a business degree, learn about finances, marketing, sales, all that stuff, get that background from college. I was a baseball player, so I was in college. I just didn't use it.
Where'd you play at?
West Georgia.
Oh, okay, yeah. I knew that.
Back when we were the Braves. And then additionally, I would have found a job somewhere at any level at a landscape company. You know, my story is a little bit unique in the fact that I just graduated college and said, you know what, I'll be a teacher and a coach as a backup plan. I'm going to start a company, and we're just going to go for landscape because I feel like it might be the easiest to learn. So with that being said, one, it's amazing that I've made it to this level, but had I done it the right way, I could have been at this level earlier, I believe. So to answer your question, there's a lot of them. I will tell you this. What I'm working on now, we do $8 million a year, okay? I'd have to count, but let's say 12 upper management people. I have no SOPs. I have no nothing. I hire somebody. Joseph over there is one of my account managers.
Oh, really? Which one's that?
The guy in the gray.
Okay.
Yeah, one of my account managers. He was he worked with me years ago as a designer. He's very organized. He's very sales-oriented, customer service-oriented. When he comes aboard, I say, hey, this is what we're trying to do. Go do it how you see fit, whether it works or not. When you get to a certain size, well, even at any size, I'm sure, you got to have standard operating procedures. He's got to know what he's expected to do every day, how to do it, where to do it, when to do it, and why he's doing it. I don't have that. So doing $8 million a year, 100 employees in peak season with no SOP, that's cost me a lot. So this year, again, that's what I'm working on. I think I said it at the beginning, working on training and getting my team the training and the resources that they need to succeed at the highest level possible. And the SOPs and that standardized system is really what I'm focused on right now, and that is something that we haven't had, and that is a huge, huge mistake. And I've been able to overcome it barely every year. So now we're going to put it into place, and we're going to hit that 20 million. And it's going to be something stupid as that. Something that where every business owner that is successful, Jonathan Potoshnik out there listening, he's going to be like, you don't have SOPs? Yeah, it's wild to think about. But to answer your question, I would say that's it, man. Just a lack of structure. What I do is I hire people based on attitude, and I give them an objective. I was always of the mind that there's more than one way to skin a cat. If I can give you an objective, whatever way you think is best, whatever way works for you, go get it done. Just get to that objective. Well, when you have 100 employees, you can't do that. You got to say, this is how we do it. Think of Chick-fil-A. This is how we do it. We say, my pleasure every time anybody says thank you. We have these standard checks of, everybody's going to get a straw, everybody's going to get a napkin, everybody's going to get the sauces they ask for, versus your experience at McDonald's, where oftentimes you look in the bag and the order is incorrect, you have no napkins, where's my straw, so on and so forth. So the reason that I believe that Chick-fil-A, and there's such a stark difference between Chick-fil-A and McDonald's, is their SOPs, their training. It's not just the people that they hire, it's how the resources they dump into those people. So that's a long-winded question, or a long-winded answer, but that is my answer, is not having SOPs and adequate training for my people. And the reason that is because I wasn't a landscaper. I don't have a finance degree, a business degree. I never worked for a landscape company. So essentially I was hiring people and saying, hey, how did you do it at your other company? Because I'm trying to learn from you, and then just letting them run wild.
Yeah.
Well, at some point you have to be a leader. It's my company. I have to lead them, and you take something that is successful for you and something from them, and then kind of compile it all together into a living document that I can hand and we can repeat. And when you can repeat it, you can scale it. So.
Yeah, I was at Carrabba's last night over here, but I also go down to the Carrabba's in Florida, and it's exact same. I mean, the whole operation, the food's the same, the taste is the same, the menu was the same. Everything was. I wouldn't have known, once I was in the restaurant. Am I in Florida or am I in Georgia?
Right, and that is they've accomplished that, and that's why they can scale. That's why they can be in different places and still satisfy their customers. So, that's what we're working on. I mean, there's a handful of other things, and like I said, this list is long-winded, but that's the most important one that I'm hyper-focused on right now to propel us to the next level.
Let me ask you a question. I asked Mark Bradley, and I asked JP, Jonathan Patoshnik. Apparently his nickname's JP, so I started calling him JP now, and he's cool with it. How do you find a good employee?
Okay, so that is a tough question because you have different levels. I'll kind of go through them briefly. If you're looking for a crew guy, just a crew member, weed eater, detail, spray the beds, I use Facebook. Okay, I have ads running 24/7, now hiring 50 crew members, whatever. It could be January, it could be June, it runs constantly. I spend, $5 or $10 a day. And I get 1 to 3 leads every single day. So I have this whole file of qualified people that are looking for a job at any time. Now, you move on to the crew leader. That's going to be
hold on. Mm-hmm. So they get the Facebook ad. Do they fill out a form?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then who calls them, and where do you do the interview? Let's get through that first, because most guys are like Grant and Sons. They're just trying to find that one guy who can run the weed eater all day or the mower.
Facebook, man. So I run the ad. You got to jump through some hoops to file or to post a job now. It used to be real easy, but now it's a whole different set of stipulations. So anyway, there's a form that you create. I ask a couple questions. Are you a legal U.S. citizen? Do you have a driver's license? How many years of landscape experience? Are you interested in crew lead? And I think those are my 4 questions.
Okay.
So it will filter those credentials. If they say they're not legal to work, then it doesn't even come to my desk. It never even gets to the file. So let's imagine you got these people and all 4 of those criteria are satisfied. It goes into Facebook will hold it, and when my operations team says, hey, we need more guys, fired people quit, whatever the case may be, need more guys ramping up in the spring, I will go in and pull the CSV file. There might be 200 or 300 people. He sees all the answers. Am I looking for crew leaders? They better have 3 or 4 years of experience, have a driver's license, and say yes. Mm-hmm. So they got to satisfy those 3. So he has that, and he will make the decision on who he needs to call.
Okay.
Depending on, in the spring we will hire literally 30 or 40 guys. We don't use visa guys. So we get up to 50, 55 guys in the spring, and then we cut down to about 12 or 15 in January, February.
Okay.
Now, we're blessed. A lot of our guys will be willing to come back after a 2-month hiatus. They'll go do something, and then they'll come back. But that's how I do that level. And again, that's your crew members and then your crew leaders, all in that Facebook thing. If I'm looking for management, sales, operations, anything like that, I go straight to LinkedIn. LinkedIn's going to be your higher qualified pool of people. I run some paid ads on there. That's, like I said, that's going to be your management level people, your sales people, your executives, all that stuff. And I have a really decent following on LinkedIn, and that's where
your LinkedIn game is strong, Jeremy.
Perfect.
It is
yes,
amazing.
And that is where, back to what we were talking about earlier, that's where I brand Jeremy Talboy.
Yeah, that's what I've been telling him to do on all platforms, but he ain't listening. But I will say, a Jeremy Talboy LinkedIn post, you do a very, very good job.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
You
that.
should see my little likes. When I see it, I like them.
Of course I do. I think about it. I think about it all the time when I see it. I'm like, man, I got to go play golf. But so that's how I do that. Again, you pay for the ads. I can post it for free on my page because I have a decent following. The majority of the people that follow me are in the Atlanta market. Most of them are clients, but there is a lot of competitors, I guess you would call it, colleagues, operations guys from other companies, sales guys from other companies, business owners of my competition. Jason Kultas, he follows me, so the word gets around, and so I use LinkedIn for that, for the upper management sales positions, and I think that's about it.
Okay, you mentioned firing earlier. Guys quitting. What's the reason why you fire somebody?
The obvious reasons, but I will be honest with you. Now, I don't do the firing for the crews. That's operations. I let them make those decisions. They hire and fire. They handle all that stuff. I do all the upper management stuff. I'm a little bit soft, to be honest with you. I care about people. When you come and work for my company, you're entering a family. We have meetings all the time. We're all friends on Facebook, which you may or may not agree with. We're very close-knit, so it's very, very difficult for me to fire somebody. I have a hard time with it. I have actually delegated that to my lovely wife.
Okay.
She's tough. She's tough. So the reasons to fire people, lying, theft, not doing your job, drinking and driving in a work truck, all the obvious stuff. And yes, you laugh, it has happened.
Did they actually get a DUI ticket in the work truck, or?
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
It's totaled. And
you're kidding me.
And you know who I'm talking about. Not you, but you know who I'm talking about. Anyway, so, and even then it was difficult for me to fire that guy because he's like my brother. I love him. I love him to death. We've been through so much. He killed it for me, but he was constantly making mistakes. And, I had conversations with him prior saying, if you were to do this or this or this, all these things that you've done at any other company, you would have been fired long ago. And it's very difficult for me because I look at them all as family. I know their personal stories. We go eat lunch together. We eat dinner together. We go to church together. We talk all the time, and it's very hard to work with family, and that's why they say don't do it. So it's hard, but he was really good at his job, and he's going to be back eventually. I still talk to him every day. You know what I'm talking about. He'll be back someday.
Does his name start with an M?
Yeah. It is, yeah. That's a good guess.
Thank you. I know who it is then.
Good. He knows who it is too.
But anyway, I don't want to get you in. I don't want to.
It's tough though. So let me just piggyback off of that. If you are like me, it's hard to the old adage that, hey man, it's not personal, it's just business. I got to do what I got to do that's best for the business. And when you have somebody like that, and you got to get rid of them, you just got to do it. You got to, and if you can't, meaning me, if I don't have the testicular fortitude to do it, the courage to do it, then I will have. You better find somebody that will. And thankfully, my wife, she cares about the business. I care, and she is all about. It's not personal. It's just business. So if I have to, I call in the enforcer.
Okay.
I say, baby, you know what needs to happen, and she'll take care of it. So. No, that's a character flaw on my part. That's a lack of leadership on my part, but it is what it is. And fortunately, I know what I'm good at, and I know what I'm not good at. And the things that I'm not good at, I can usually supplement with somebody that is.
What's her role in the business? And everything's so intertwined. what did she do and how did she help you?
Yeah, so she's awesome. She's a blessing. She's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. She is our office manager. She answers all the phone calls. She does all the payroll, right? When you're running a company, I mean, you can imagine the amount of money that comes in and out on a daily basis. You got to have somebody that you can trust. And my wife is that person. She does all the invoicing, the accounting. Well, we have an accountant, but like the recording of all the payments in Jobber. She does a little bit of HR, even though we're about to bring in a company to do our HR stuff. But most importantly, well, I would say handling the money is very important. But most importantly, or equally as important, is she answers the phones on the design build side. So I spend a lot of money on ads. Phone's ringing off the hook. They call and they want a pool and a full backyard renovation. She's the first person they talk to.
Wow.
And it's important. It's a very important role because they've looked at your review. They've Googled you, right?
Oh yeah.
They've seen your reviews. They've handpicked you. Maybe with another. It's between you and another company, or it's just solely you. But they've already they've got one foot in the door.
Yeah.
And then whoever answers the phone and how that conversation goes and the cadence of it and just how the emotion and all that stuff, it really dictates if they're going to put the other foot in the door. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's very important to have somebody that cares, that is very customer service oriented, that's bubbly, and happy answering the phone. So that is probably her most important role, because as I said earlier, that's the bulk of our revenue.
Yeah.
is residential design build. So, and I can't tell you how many times I go meet somebody and you're like, oh, the lady on the phone was just super awesome. And I mean, that's huge. So that's her biggest responsibility is that first impression that clients have of our company beyond the online presence.
What was her first impression of you? Where'd you guys meet? How'd you wife her up? What's the story?
Okay, so I met her at a concert, JJ Gray and the Mofro Band. It was December 30th of 2017, I think, 16, 17. Little backstory, she was from my hometown, and on Facebook...
Fort Lauderdale?
No, Swanee, Buford.
Oh, okay.
Up here. On Facebook, this was right when they kind of put like friends you may know.
Oh, yeah.
Suggestions as you scroll down, every so often you'd have a bar that says people you may know. Well, she repeatedly was popping up, and we had 100 and something friends in common. And every time I saw her, I'm like, damn, she's fine. That girl is beautiful, and we have so
Tell us what you really thought.
She's bad. So I never added her as a friend or anything, but I was like, man, we have so many friends in common. Like, I'm sure I've been in a room with her before, and I'm looking at the friends in common. I'm like, dude, we've had to have rubbed elbows somewhere, but turns out we never did. One day I got the courage. She just kept popping up. Number one, it was God. Just kept popping up, and one day I just had the courage to say, you know what, add friend. She immediately responded.
Let's go.
And this was back in the day. This was a dating tactic for me, and probably a lot of people out there. When any sort of thing like that happened, the rules of the game were you go through their pictures, you go deep in their pictures, and you just start hitting like this picture's from 4 years ago, I'm gonna hit like, because she's gonna get that notification, and now she knows that I'm looking through her pictures. And you sit back and you wait. And you wait to see if you get a notification that she liked one of your 4-year-old pictures. Lo and behold, here it comes. Christina liked your picture. And I look at the picture and I'm like, dude, that's deep. Like, we're on to something here. Well, I just left it alone. I was going to let it marinate. I was going to play it slow because I had put her in the category of marriage material, right? Like, I'm going to foster this relationship. I'm going to cultivate it. I'm going to nurture it. I'm going to take it slow, whatever. Well, I went to a concert, JJ Gray, with my buddy Alex, and not many people know who that is. And it was at the Buckhead Theater, 300 people capacity, 500 people capacity. And I'm sitting there and I'm on Facebook and I see that she had posted that she was going to this concert. And I look up and here she comes walking through the doors. And there she is, and it was, like I said, it was God. It was divine intervention.
It sounds like
I mean, I just added her, so now I'm seeing her posts, and I'm like, oh my goodness, the stars have aligned. So I wasn't a big drinker. I'm still not a big drinker. But on that night, I was drunk. I had a DD. I don't know what got into me, a wild hair or something, and I was hammered. I'm talking about looking through one eye type hammered. And I saw her go to the bar, and I walked up to her, and I asked her if I could buy her a drink. She said yes. She ordered 10 drinks for her and her friends, and I was like, I am broke. So I added I was still kind of early on in my business. I added my drink to her tab. She paid. I made. Yeah, dude. Yeah. And now we have 3 kids and a house. So I mean, take from that what you will. But it worked, man.
So you could afford to buy her a drink, but not 10 of them.
That's right. And when she said 10, she was like, sure, you can buy me a drink, and then ordered all this stuff. And I'm like, girl, if this is how this relationship's going to go, I might just walk away right now. But thankfully I didn't. So the next day, I'm a little hungover, a lot hungover at the house, laying on the couch. I'm deciding, it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm trying to move. Again, I'm not a big drinker. I'm going to go get a pub sub to kind of soak up some of this alcohol, and I get a text from her, a Facebook message. And I kind of made a fool out of myself because I was super drunk, and I was dancing, and I didn't know what I was doing because I was intimidated because she was so beautiful. I was at a loss for words, and I was just taken aback by this beautiful creature. And I'm like, I ruined that. I'm never going to hear from her again. Well, I wake up off the couch, and I'm about to go get this pub sub, and my phone goes off. It's sitting on the table in front of me, and I'm like, I wonder if that's her. It was just a message notification. I wonder if that's her. Surely it's not. I'll never see her again. I screwed that up, and I flipped it over, and there it was, and it was her. Wow. And like I said, asked her out, took her out, and the rest is history, man. Beautiful kids, beautiful family, beautiful life.
Yeah, and I know the T-ball son. What's the other 2 children?
All right, so we got a 12-year-old Aspen, Hallie. She's a cheerleader. She is, she's awesome. She is prototypical oldest child, very helpful, very sweet, very, very nice, very genuine. She's actually my stepdaughter, but I consider her my daughter. She's awesome. Carson, 7, baseball player, stud. You've seen him. Mm-hmm. And then I have a 2-year-old, Haley. That's a really cool story, too. 2-year-old little girl, best thing that's ever happened. I never knew I needed a little girl in my life, but I did. And like I said, cool story about that. My wife was getting baby fever. And I told her, baby, Carson's 5 years old. Like, I sleep through the night. Like, I don't want to start over. I'm 40 years old at the time, whatever. I like my sleep. I don't want to start over. And she just kept had baby fever bad. Kept pressuring me. And I'm like, no. One day, hand to God, I'm sitting in church with my wife, and I cannot pay attention. The sermon, who knows what it's about. I was disconnected. The whole time, I'm having this feeling like I've never felt before, and it was just, I would assume it was God talking to me saying, you need to have a baby. Mm-hmm. It was the weirdest feeling. I can't even put it into words. And the whole time I was just sitting there feeling like I was being called to have another baby. Church lets out. I tell my wife, I say, this is what happened. And she's like, are you serious? And I'm like, do you want to try? She said, I do. I said, all right, here's the deal. I'm going to give it one shot. In 10 minutes, right now, and whatever happens. Went up there, one shot, next thing you know, I'm pregnant. So
went up there, you went back to your house? Or was it church parking lot? Or
nah,
you said 10 minutes.
From church to the house.
Okay, so you drove home from church.
Yeah, and one shot, home run, grand slam, there it is. Awesome. So, divine intervention. It was a blessing. And as I said a minute ago, I never thought or knew that I needed a baby girl in my life. But anybody who has a baby girl will tell you, yes, you do. It is so wildly different than having a little boy. And it is so awesome. It is so awesome. I love I love them all, but that story is just, I'll never forget it. It's a great little story.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, so I feel this way about all my kids, but especially Haley. She's going to do something great. I don't know whether she's the first woman president or the fifth woman president or the first somebody to do something. I feel like she's got a real bright future. She's very smart. She's all that, but just the way that she was brought into this world, I feel like she's destined for greatness.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, that's that.
Super cool story. Back to LinkedIn.
Okay.
So I make a post. Thankfully, Naylor, he's my biggest LinkedIn supporter. I'll see liked by Naylor Taliaferro, and maybe I'll get another like or two. But it's like I'm like 3 likes. That's kind of where my LinkedIn game's at. However, I have made, I don't want to say exactly because I'd have to calculate, but I've made a ton of money off LinkedIn because I've gotten brand deals. Like people are watching me, they're just not, and for whatever reason, they don't like it. So I've seen a little bit of fruit from it. But how do I get to your level? Because I see you and you're getting like 60 likes or 70 likes, which on LinkedIn is huge.
It is, isn't it?
So what are you doing over there?
Well, first of all, everybody that I meet, I add them.
Okay.
I started with, only clients. I don't want my feed flooded with vendors, trying to sell me wall block or anything like that. And I started with clients. Well, I quickly realized the value of, adding anybody and everybody that had any sort of, accounting people, marketing people. Now, I don't seek them out, but when they send me a connection request, I will most likely, if they're in the Atlanta market, I will accept it. But I do. When I go do lunch and learns with property management groups, I get all their cards. When I get back to the office, I start adding every single one of them because I want them, I want to be in front of them every day. And that's how, when I walk into a room, people are like, I know you from the white hat. My LinkedIn, I have my white hat. Most of the time I have my white hat. So anytime I go do any sort of networking event, I will collect as many cards as I can. And then I will go back and add them. And I want to stay in front of them. It's a very good marketing tool. It's the best marketing tool for commercial stuff because a lot of my following is property managers, regional managers for Carter Hastings, Graystar, Ram, Pegasus, any of those people that have huge portfolios that I can come in and solve a problem for them, provide them a service at a competitive price, give them good value, build that relationship. So now that they're on there, when I post anything, whether I'm here or on a job site or at the office, that's a free customer touch, where I'm in front, it's exposure. I'm in front of them all the time. So to answer your question, I just add everybody that I can that is relevant. I don't add regular, just irrelevant people, but anybody in the industry, anybody that's a client, a competitor, anybody. The thing about competitors is we're colleagues. You never know when they're going to sell their company and want to come work for you, sell to you, go out of business and want to come work for you, or their operations guy wants to leave and looking for another job. So it's good to have them in your network too, because I find a lot of good employees. Employees bounce around, and it's good. So that's how I build that.
That's super cool. Fun story. Well, is there anything we're leaving out here, Jeremy, that needs addressed? You're talking to guys that own lawn care, landscaping businesses all across the world. What do you want to impart to them?
Well, I will. The biggest secret, Grant & Sons was asking me earlier, if I had to impart any knowledge on anybody, it's the customer service and communication side of it. If you can master that, you will go a long way. And that goes for lawn and landscape, that goes for construction, that goes for retail. It transcends across every industry. I go back to the Chick-fil-A versus McDonald's. If you can master client communication and customer service, you will go a long way. So really focus on that. And then after that, train your people, which is where I'm at now. I got the client communication aspect down. My guys, they do a fantastic job. The product they put out, fantastic. Now it's about training everybody. So those are my two biggest pieces of advice to anybody out there that's looking to get started or just got started and is looking to grow and scale.
And how can people connect with you on the the internet? I know you got different usernames that we've already
who knows
hashed
what it's
out,
gonna be.
but how can they connect with you? Let's say on LinkedIn,
Who
on
knows
TikTok,
what it's gonna
Instagram.
be? Who knows? I change it like the weather. But on on LinkedIn, which is more B2B type stuff, that is Jeremy Talboy, North Georgia Landscape Management. And then on Instagram is where I'm kind of focused at the moment. It used to be Mow, Blow, and Grow, but now it is Jeremy the Landscape Tycoon. So yeah, I put a lot of stuff on there, a lot of tips, a lot of tricks, just a lot of content to help. And I learn from you guys, stuff that I can, little nuggets that I get from you guys that I can spread to my people. But yeah, show them the success that I've had and kind of give them insight on how I got there and what I did.
Is my editor still helping you out? Mm-hmm. She does a good job.
Clarice.
Yay! She is so good.
We'll edit that out.
I don't know. She is so good. Like I get a video back from her. I'm like, that is an absolute masterpiece. And the same with yours. That's why I asked, because I figured. I mean, your videos when she edits them are good.
She's real good. Highly recommended. Thank you for that.
We ain't recommending her to nobody.
Yeah. Y'all don't.
My fear is if she gets overloaded, maybe the quality will diminish. But where she's at right now is masterpiece after masterpiece after masterpiece.
Yeah,
well, great work.
We'll cut that part out.
Who's we?
Michelle.
You're gonna.
Michelle. Her name's Michelle.
Yeah.
His name's Michael. I use her, and it's been fantastic, and I appreciate that guidance because it does. It helps. On that side, when I put stuff out on Instagram, it's to your audience. Mm-hmm. A lot of landscapers, business owners, construction guys that are looking to be successful, looking for daily motivation and inspiration. By the way, the Proverbs of the day, fantastic.
Thank you.
And then when I put stuff on LinkedIn, it's to get in front of my clients. Mm-hmm. Facebook is kind of clients, but Instagram is all this group of people, right? Yeah. I want to write a book. Yeah. I want to have a podcast, so that's that audience. So I use her for both of them, but mostly on the Instagram side. But the LinkedIn, I tell you, the LinkedIn stuff that I do for business to business, mm-hmm. when I have those professional videos, people stop me all the time, and they're like, dude, what you said earlier, your LinkedIn posts are fantastic. And I look around and I'm like, why is nobody else doing this? I mean, it's the Instagram formula brought over to LinkedIn. Yeah. So,
but going back to branding, your post, it just looks really professional and it's edited nice and it makes you look more like an authority.
Sure.
So it goes back to branding.
That's right. Branding in 101. That's number one. So
cool. Well, next time you come down to Florida, I know it's tight on time. There's a lot of courses in the area. I'd like to take you to Esplanade de Rosario. I want to say it's quite Cherokee, but it's very nice.
Perfect.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
And it's wide open, so it's not as difficult as Cherokee.
You can play from 3 fairways over, right?
Yeah, you can. And it's a very nice course out there. I started a golf YouTube channel.
Yep.
By the time this comes out, my new video will already come out. But I hired a really good editor, and my content. If you ever watch my golf content in the future on YouTube, it's world class. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully taking off. So maybe we can make another video or do something. If you come down to Florida, I know Duval. He's going to shut that down.
Well, we'll get you up here too. Like I said, when those top tier opportunities are presented, then I will always extend the invite to you. You've been very good to me, so you'll get up here and you'll golf again.
Yeah, you still owe me $5. We did closest to the pin, him and Duval, on that par 3 over the water. Closest to the, not just playing with you.
I'm a man of my word. I don't know. I think you had to make the putt, though.
Oh, you did right. You're right. He
had to make the putt. And if you've seen the video, he did not make the putt.
I didn't put.
Throw me under the bus in front of all these people.
You're right. That was part of it. I forgot.
Drive for show, putt for dough.
And now you hit a green in regulation. You had like a 12-footer.
Whoa! You had a 4-footer. I had a 5-footer. We both missed.
Yeah. But
I almost got you.
That was a good hole. It was over the water. I've milked it. I published the video probably like 5 times because that was my best.
Hold that finish. That's right. You stuck it. It was good. You had Sully in the background with the.
He filmed it, and he's like, "We need to give you your putter." It's a great video.
It's fantastic. So we'll do it again. We'll make some more videos and send it off to your editor and top shelf.
Oh, this new editor! I'm telling you, Jeremy. I don't think you understand what's coming. The golf content. I started a new YouTube channel, and I'm I'm continuing to do all this stuff, but
Sure.
I know the recipe of how to hit record, upload, and build an audience and get brand deals and all that stuff. So I'm just rinsing and repeating that with a golf channel, and I'm so fired up. Like I haven't been this passionate about something in a very long time. Like I can't wait till to wake up the next day to go film the golf video. And it's just
good.
It's excitement and passion and energy. And Jonathan Potoshnik, I got to have dinner with him one night, and I talked to him about it. He's like, "You got to go all in on this golf thing, Paul." He's like, "I'm telling you." When he said that, I was like, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir."
Absolutely.
Like
That's how I
all
feel
in.
about baseball. Like I said, my next venture is to get into the podcasting and stuff, and get on y'all's level. But then beyond that, like eventually I'd like to sell my company and just be a baseball coach. That's when you describe this golf channel and your passion and your fire. That's how I feel about baseball.
Yeah,
and,
passion.
Not just the baseball, but the kids. Investing in the development. And being a positive role model for the next generation of young men.
Mm-hmm.
Coaches have a profound impact on young men. So that's where I feel the same way about that. I would like to put a little for sale site on my company in a couple years, few years, handful of years, whatever it may be.
Before you do that, Nick Bartolo, he's been on the show before.
Yeah.
Make sure you chat with him. Make sure you get maximum. He specializes in selling landscaping businesses at your size.
I'll hit him up on LinkedIn.
Yeah, Nick Bartolo. He's a wealth advisor he lives out on the Pacific Ocean, but he is world class. So I met him because, and I'll wrap up. I've seen you look at your watch about 5 times. The social cues here. This is we don't get to do this too often, but Nick Bartolo was in Jonathan Potoshnik's office, and I will watch it on LinkedIn. I think Nick had posted. I was like, if JP's got someone in his office, this guy's probably smart. So
Sure.
I added him on LinkedIn. It's a LinkedIn story here. And then he sent me a message like, "Hey, thanks for the ad. I saw that you interviewed JP. We have a mutual friend." And then anyway, I interviewed Nick to be on my podcast in the John Deere booth at the Quip Expo, and he flew all the way out just to be on my podcast.
Wow.
It was pretty cool. But he knows his stuff. So he's with Jonathan Potoshnik's sphere.
Top.
But if you go to sell your business, make sure you talk to him first, because it's a big swing of
Sure.
your
it's a
business.
big range.
Yeah.
Big range. And I was talking to somebody earlier about that, having this same conversation, and he was saying the same thing. And he's in mergers and acquisitions, and he was saying before he sold his company, he spent $100,000 on an advisor like that, and it ended up getting him $3.2 million more return off of his sale.
Yeah.
So that's a big,
and then
big
Jonathan Potoshnik's swing was like, I don't know for sure, but we'll just say 15 to 20 million, because he sold Service Autopilot, which is a humongous sale. And anyways, it's just I'm just telling you, Nick Bartolo, add on LinkedIn. He'd be a good one to talk to when you do sell.
Done. I will add him on
money.
LinkedIn, and I will send him a message, because that's how we do business.
Yep, yes, sir. All right, Jeremy. Well, I don't want to hog you, be a ball hog. I know we have 6 podcasts here, and many people here wanted to hop on, or chat with you if you can. And
Sure.
We've already gone well over an hour, but it was I wanted to always hear that story of how you met your wife. And
Yeah, she's a blessing. She's the best thing. And before we get off, let me just talk about my wife one more time. My wife came into the picture when I had nothing, and she has seen it all. And I do $8 million a year. Don't think I don't spend a lot of time on my knees praying. There's a lot of times where you think it might be the end, and every single time I hit one of those roadblocks, she's right there behind me. She is the epitome, the true definition of a ride or die companion, and it's just a super blessing. So, to my wife, I love you very much, and I appreciate everything. And thanks for sticking with me and being on my back, having my back at every turn. So I love you very much, and I'm glad that I added you on Facebook years many years ago.
that's how you end the show right there.
That's
Well,
right.
thank you very much, Jeremy, and hopefully you'll be seeing him. If you guys aren't following me, if you like golf, go follow my new YouTube golf channel, Paul Jameson Golf. Hopefully you'll see Jeremy. Maybe I don't know what we'll do, but
We'll play golf.
Yeah, play golf. It'll be fun.
Very simple. Thanks. Appreciate it. Always a pleasure to see you.
Yeah, you too, Jeremy. Thank you.